We're going to talk about the uh, social cultural changes of people when they work abroad. Now, usually what happens is, there's a social element to when people work abroad. And I think it's important to notice that, people sort of have to change, who they are sometimes when they're abroad. And there are three major types of these changes. The first one is affirmation. And what this means is, it really affirms strengthens their culture, where they came from. So for example, if you're American, you're really aware of your American identity now that you've lived abroad. The next one is assimilation. And assimilation is when you basically become just like your host people. And this is usually for people that stay in the country for quite a long time. The next one is called integration. And basically, what this means is you take your home country culture and whatnot, and then you sort of combine it with your host country. So you kind of be like this almost dichotomous individual with both cultures. Now, the last one is disintegration, and it's sort of called a global citizen. So, for example, you have these different roles, and you sort of switch into these roles depending on the situation where you are on the globe. So, for example, I'm in Thailand, I might switch how I do things differently depending on the situation. Now, they say that in integration is sort of the way that most people that live abroad, manage their cultural identity. So they really combine these two things, and which really requires them to get to know many different people. But for organizations in particular, to facilitate somebody's cultural transition, it's really important that they facilitate communication with their home country, because a lot of times people do get sad, and so especially if they're going to go back to their home country, you need to make sure that the communication between them is very strong. Now, the other thing is to build and strengthen the relationships of the host country. So, uh, whatever the organization can do to make sure that these people feel connected with their fellow workers that are from the host country, ultimately the better, the happier they'll be, and the better job performance that they will have at the organization.